Hey Pal River, hey Park Bench, this is Austin McKinnon here with the fabulous Kayla Murchie, who has just opened the very exciting Lollipop Learning Center.
Thank you, Austin.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Such an exciting endeavor.
I'm really excited about it.
Good. So now tell me a little more about yourself.
Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Kayla Murchie. I am the owner, executive director of the Lollipop Guild Learning Center. We are located on the corner of Duncan and Michigan Avenue, right across from City Hall. Most of you may know it as the Powell River United Church with the rainbow steps right outside. So it's a good landmarker. If you're from the area, you might be able to recognize that. So we are right on the side with a beautiful new fence that we just put in. I am originally from the US, so I'm from Florida, and I have my bachelor's degree in education. So I've had lots of experience with different age groups.
Wow.
And so I worked my way here just on vacation for spring break. It happened to be in 2020. And so I got stuck.
Yes.
I thought it was a joke. I really didn't think my flight would be canceled, but it was.
Well,
and I got stuck for months. I couldn't get back at all to my family, my friends, my job, my house.
What a weird time.
It was very weird. I thought I felt like a movie.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it.
But it led to a whole new life.
It did. And now I'm happy and healthy. My family all understands, and so something good came out of COVID at least.
There you go. Yeah. Many new doors were opened as others were closed.
Yes, many.
Excellent. Okay. So what made you decide to open this business?
As you know, I used to work for another daycare in town, and we would get calls 3 or 4 times a day for wait list after wait list after wait list. At one point, I think it was a 2-year wait.
I'm sure that was me calling at that point. Yeah. 2021.
Yep. It was hectic, and I felt so bad for the families. And the lady that I worked for, she retired now, so it left a lot of us staff with nowhere to really go, and a lot of the families with no care to have. And I found myself with a unique set of skills to be able to run a daycare. And I thought, you know what, it's my turn.
Good for you. It's really hard to make that step up, but it takes a lot of someone. So good for you.
It was scary and a lot of hard work. Don't get me wrong, but it had its fun moments.
Good.
So I just tried to make the best and stay positive in it all, and here we are.
In this beautiful space that you've created. It is so lovely and welcoming.
Thank you. That was what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted, was a welcoming feeling when you walk through the door.
Well, you've definitely achieved that here, but in terms of being in childcare in general, what made you choose this profession?
I like to say that this profession chose me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I had epilepsy.
Wow. Most
people don't know that. Eventually I did grow out of it, but in school, my teachers didn't teach me a whole lot. Mm-hmm. They kind of just ignored me. They didn't have, I don't think society as a whole really had a grasp on the different types of seizures people could have, let alone how to help us kids who struggled with it. So at the time, many of the teachers just thought I wasn't paying attention, or they thought I was just being lazy and didn't want to do the work. But I had no idea what was going on.
Oh my goodness.
So reading was my favorite subject because it was something I could do on my own. I could teach myself how to do it. But math all builds on itself.
Yes.
And so I remember in 3rd grade, my teacher looked at me and he's like, "Oh, you're so dumb. Like, you're just not paying attention. Pay attention." And at that point, I was disoriented. I just had a seizure. I had no idea where I was, let alone the question that he asked me. And so I remember going home and crying for hours to my parents that I just felt so dumb.
Who calls a child dumb? That's awful. I'm sorry.
3rd grade, apparently. So, it was a really bad feeling. And as I got older, I met a few teachers that were so compassionate and so kind and really helped me they would stay after school and help me learn for the next day's lessons to catch me up to speed. Goodness. And I realized, I'm like, I don't want another child to ever feel the way I felt coming home from school that day.
Yeah.
And so I made a promise that I would become that educator that I needed, because there's not very many of us that do it for that reason.
Well, and in such a small place like Powell River now, we're even more limited in those kind of resources and those helpers that can really connect with a child and see them.
Yeah, it's one thing to learn about it in school. I think we all learn about it in school at some point when we go through that system, but to be able to experience how those children feel in those moments and have compassion because you've lived through it too,
Yes.
it gives a different kind of connection.
Exactly. So is that what's going to differentiate you in our community, that kind of depth of knowledge or understanding?
I think it does
Yeah.
in many ways. I also think my theme has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah.
Not very many centers have an overall theme to their center. It's usually they have classroom themes, but not very many have a whole theme. And so, as you know, my name is the Lollipop Guild.
Yes.
So it's from the Wizard of Oz.
Which everyone knows.
You would think, but surprisingly not. So I got the name because it was always my favorite book. It was always my favorite movie. And the lessons that you learn as a kid in that book and movie, you don't think would be very important until you get older and you realize, oh, wow, that's a deep movie and
I
book.
love those. When you do it again as an adult with your own kids, you're like, oh, cool. That was in there the whole time. That's great.
So we try to encourage our kids here, to be like the characters in the story, have a heart, show kindness to those friends, share, maybe help a friend who is struggling that day.
Find the timid lion and help them be brave.
Yes, exactly. Find the lion, be brave in scary circumstances, and just use your brain, learn, have fun.
So on the flip side, what about your staff then? How do you find it's best to motivate and encourage them?
I think for them, I've chosen them because they have a passion already for what they do.
Nice.
And I think continuing to grow that passion and encourage them to continue to grow and learn the same as we tell the kids to do is the biggest motivator. As an educator myself, who's worked under many employees, I think some of my favorite employers were the ones that really motivated me to keep going, not to give up and keep learning, because that's what we tell the kids to do. Why not do it ourselves?
And I love when a kid sees that moment. They see that an adult can still learn, so they don't feel like they have to have it all figured out by some deadline.
Yeah.
Growing up, they're like, it's okay, we're always learning together.
Exactly.
Pressure's off a bit.
Yeah. That's what I want everyone to feel like.
I like that. Okay, so we are now in the quiet room. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what inspired this space?
Of course. Thank you for asking. So this space was inspired because at a lot of the other daycares, we have special people that come in, like speech and language, maybe occupational therapists. And sometimes we just have a lot of kids in our classrooms at one time, and they need a quiet space to go.
Kids can be loud.
Exactly.
Rooms echo, yep.
Yeah, so especially, as adults, we get overstimulated when there's too many people in one room. So why do we expect for the children that don't know how to handle those emotions yet not to get overstimulated?
Completely.
So this is a room dedicated to those children and to the lovely workers who come in and help us teach speech and language, those sorts of things. So we have a lot of books here that help the children understand how they're feeling in those moments. We have different calming strategies to help them calm down.
I like it.
We have some special toys and things to help them in those moments realize how they're feeling. So I actually have a feelings pineapple here as well. It's one of my favorite things. So it's kind of the same as an old school Mr. Potato Head, only with a new age twist. So they get to take all of the face parts that are inside and they can make the pineapple show the emotions that they're feeling on the inside.
I love that. Words are so hard for kids to find.
It can be so hard. Yeah. So that's why we have lots of different ways for them to show that. We have it through books, toys, manipulatives, whatever they need. We try to accommodate that.
That's incredible because it can come out as like biting or hitting when they just don't know what to do with themselves. So when they have a place to kind of figure it out, I feel like that will help alleviate that, and then they don't have to feel bad afterwards for how they've handled it because they're not supposed to know at that age. So that's really smart to kind of be proactive about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it too.
Good. So from your own childhood, I guess, was there someone who had the biggest impact on you and something they taught you to become this way?
It's cliche, don't laugh, but my parents, 100%. My mom and dad are both entrepreneurs as well, so they were very proud when I told them I was starting my own business.
No kidding.
But it's different kinds of business, but still it's the same concept.
Every business has people. Right?
Exactly. So my dad, he worked 365 days a year. I don't recall him ever taking a vacation until I got way older, and he had people to work underneath him. He was dedicated, and he taught me what it meant to be a hard worker and to sacrifice, for the long-term picture and goal that you have. And my mom, she She's got the biggest heart I think I've ever seen in my whole life. She will treat you like you are family, whether you met her 5 minutes ago or 5 years ago.
Wow.
And so that's the homey, welcoming feeling that I want to bring to the center and to the families that are with me and the staff as well.
I think that'll be greatly appreciated. Our community places a big emphasis on that, so I think people will really connect with that.
I really hope so.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So my last question for you is, if a young person asked you, what's the best way to live? What advice would you give them?
I am really glad you asked me that question, actually. So as I mentioned earlier, we tell the kids to live like the characters in the story. But the main character is Dorothy. I did not mention her earlier.
Right.
And Dorothy has always been my favorite.
Okay.
And the reason is because I would tell young people to be like Dorothy and live like she lived. She went on adventures. She met friendships or friends that would last a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she wasn't afraid to face challenges.
Mm-hmm. And to solve a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what life is about. You know, as when we're young, we don't realize that we have everything we need already inside of us. Mm-hmm. It takes the people around us, the environment around us to pull those potentials out of us.
It does. And following an unknown road.
Exactly.
But still keeping on going.
So I would say to live like Dorothy.
That's what amazing. I would do. Wow. Well, I'm inspired.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope I can inspire as many people as possible.
I'm sure you will. Well, we'll share this video and see how many.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for sitting with me today.
Anytime. You're welcome.
You bet.
Have a great day.
Bye, Palmer Bird.